Ali Larijani has been killed in a precision strike on the outskirts of Tehran, one of the most powerful figures in Iran's national security structure gone in seconds. Say that again. A senior architect of Iran's military coordination and nuclear posture eliminated in a single controlled detonation alongside Commander Gholamreza Soleimani in what officials describe as a targeted assassination. This is not routine, this is unprecedented. Within minutes, emergency channels lit up across Iran's command network. A strike like this does not just remove two men. It disrupts a system that manages military decisions, nuclear oversight, and wartime response for a nation of over 88 million people. And when that system is shaken, the consequences do not stay local. So what is really happening behind the scenes? And more importantly, what does this strike reveal about how far this conflict is willing to go? This is not simply a convoy attack in the outskirts of Tehran. It is a direct hit on the connective core of Iran's strategic command structure, where political authority, military planning, and nuclear oversight intersect. A system designed to operate with precision and continuity suddenly forced into disruption, and that raises a deeper question about how resilient that system truly is. Ali Larijani was not just a senior official. He was a central node, coordinating between multiple layers of power that rarely converge in one individual. His role was to synthesize intelligence, guide strategic responses, and maintain coherence between institutions that otherwise operate independently. Remove that node, and the system does not collapse, but it hesitates. It recalibrates. And in moments of conflict, hesitation carries risk. But how did this happen so precisely, so cleanly, and without warning? Just before dawn, a convoy of black armored vehicles moved under tight control through Tehran's outskirts. Engines low, routes monitored, surveillance drones overhead, everything appeared stable. Then, suddenly, a precision-guided strike cut through the air. A flash. A controlled detonation. The lead vehicle was torn open with surgical accuracy. Security personnel scrambled, communications fractured. And then, confirmation. Ali Larijani was dead. Gholamreza Soleimani was dead. Silence. Israeli officials later stated the operation was built on long-term surveillance, real-time intelligence tracking, and coordinated execution across multiple domains. According to defense sources, Larijani was identified as a high-value strategic target due to his role in military coordination and nuclear decision-making. The objective was not just elimination, it was disruption. But that was not the most alarming part. Israeli authorities emphasized that Larijani's position placed him at the intersection of political, military, and nuclear command. Removing him, they claimed, fractured a critical node in Iran's command and control architecture. The strike relied on precision munitions and a narrow engagement window, minimizing collateral exposure while ensuring target elimination, and then strategic ambiguity. No detailed disclosure of the method. No confirmation of delivery system, only silence. Iranian state media confirmed the deaths shortly after, describing the attack as a targeted assassination carried out by hostile forces. Officials labeled it a direct escalation and a violation of sovereign security boundaries. But behind those statements, something else was happening. Emergency protocols activated immediately. Senior figures convened under heightened security. Air defense units moved to high alert. Missile forces repositioned. Naval patrols in the Persian Gulf intensified. Not retaliation yet, but readiness. Controlled, calculated readiness. Iranian authorities insisted their command structure remains intact, and structurally, they may be right. The system is not built around a single individual, it is layered, distributed, redundant. Decision-making authority is spread across councils and advisory bodies specifically designed to withstand decapitation strikes. No single point of failure. At least in theory. But what came next raised new concerns. Analysts noted that Iran's air defense systems were not directly engaged during the strike. No interception. No visible response. Which suggests something deeper, either stealth delivery, internal intelligence penetration, or coordination from within. And if that is the case, the implications extend far beyond this single event. Diplomatic channels activated almost instantly. U.S. media reported urgent consultations between Washington and its allies. The United Nations called for restraint. Governments across the region began recalculating risk in real time. Because this is not just about what happened, it is about what it signals. And the consequences do not stop there. Regionally, countries like Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Turkey increased airspace monitoring and initiated emergency security reviews. Military coordination channels opened, not because of the strike itself, but because of what could follow. One targeted assassination can trigger a chain reaction no one fully controls. Beyond the battlefield, something else is unfolding. Global markets reacted immediately. Oil prices rose, shipping insurance costs climbed, energy futures surged. Even the perception of instability in the Persian Gulf, through which nearly 20% of global oil supply moves, can ripple across economies within hours. Transportation costs increase, manufacturing expenses rise. Inflation builds. A localized strike begins to reshape global financial expectations. Inside the United States, political reactions split along familiar lines. Some officials framed the strike as a demonstration of deterrence. Others warned of escalation risks and unintended consequences. The debate is not new, but the stakes are higher now, because this moment introduces a new threshold. Leadership figures are no longer insulated. Strategic nodes are now active targets. This changes how decisions are made, how risks are calculated, and how responses are structured. It accelerates timelines. It compresses decision windows. It forces every actor in the region to operate under a new level of pressure. Now decision-makers face a choice. One path leads to escalation. Iran could respond directly, targeting military or strategic assets, triggering a cycle of retaliation that expands beyond borders. The consequences would be immediate military confrontation, regional instability, and a potential surge in global energy disruption. The other path leads to containment. Iran absorbs the strike, reinforces internal stability, and responds through indirect or delayed measures. But that carries its own cost-projecting restraint, could invite further targeting, further pressure, further erosion of deterrence. Neither option is without risk, and the decisions made in the coming days will determine whether this remains a controlled confrontation or something far more dangerous. The balance remains fragile. The structure holds, but the pressure has increased. The removal of Ali Larijani does not collapse Iran's system, but it disrupts its rhythm. It introduces uncertainty into processes that rely on continuity and experience. And in moments like this, uncertainty is the most dangerous variable of all. Whatever comes next, one thing is already clear. This is not simply about a single strike in Tehran. It is about the evolving doctrine of modern conflict where leadership itself becomes the battlefield. And if that threshold has truly been crossed, the consequences will not stay contained. They will extend far beyond the region, reshaping strategic calculations for years to come.